Hello students, in this video I'm going to discuss the bubble sort using classes and objects. So student, bubble sort is a sorting technique, but before moving ahead I want you all to please subscribe my channel and press subscribe button. Students, bubble sort, as I've told you, is a sorting technique. It's all about sorting the data either in ascending or descending order. In this technique we sort the given data items or data elements in the descending or ascending order by comparing two adjacent elements at a time and placing them in correct position. Alright, now example in front of you. This is the data unsorted 75, 70, 73, 55 and 5, and here I have shown the entire data into an array. So here the data of an array is to be sorted. So steps are, as I've told you, the base of the bubble sort is compared to adjacent elements. If they are not in correct order, then place them in the correct order. Means we are going to arrange the data in the ascending order. So smaller one must be before the bigger one. Alright. So here we see that 75, which is a bigger one, is before the smaller one. So we have to change or interchange these values. So 70 will be here and 75 is here. So we have swapped. This is what we call swapping, means interchanging the elements. So here I have shown you how the swapping is performed. 75 and 70s, this is at the 0th location, this is at the location number 1 or index 1. So first we transfer one element into a temp variable. So here temp has got 75. How? Because I have written temp equal to AR of 0. Alright, then AR of 0 will have AR of 1, means this 70 of AR1 is going to be copied with copied to AR of 0. So now both are having 70. The data of AR of 1 has been already saved or copied to AR of 0. So now AR of 1 can have data from the temp, which is having what? 75. So now AR1 is having 75. So our goal is over. Now swapping is done. So third variable must be there to swap or interchange the data of two index of the array. There is another technique also to swap the data without using the third variable, but that is something else we'll discuss in some other video. But right now we are using the third variable. Same process repeated, with all the other elements. Students, and just you can see that at the end the biggest element has reached its destination, right? So all these steps are known as collectively they are called pass. Alright, similarly we go for the second pass. So we find that after performing compare and swap, we get the second largest element at proper location. Students, then we go for the third pass. With this we find the third largest element at its proper position. Then we go for the fourth pass. So here the fourth largest element has found its proper position. So 4 passes have been performed when the data 5 data elements were there in the array. So students, maximum number of passes required by bubble sort are basically n minus 1, or you may say array length or array size minus 1. That is the maximum number of passes required, right? If you want to understand this detail or these specification in detail, you need to watch my previous video where I have discussed all the things in a very easy manner, and that is a quite good detail, and then you will be having a better understanding of this process. Alright, so please do watch my previous video. I'm going to give the link of the previous video in the comment box. Alright, now students, after these steps, I want you all to just see the program. So it's a regular class program, but here the array is the data member. So class B sort is there. To input the data, we have got import java.util.asterisk, that statement is there. Then class B sort, then a scanners object has been created, that is SC. After that we have got array declaration. The array name is AR, it is of int type, so square bracket is there for the array. And then int sz, that is storing the size of the array. Then public b sort, there is a constructor. Name of the class and name of the function is same, no return type, so it's a constructor, and it has got a parameter, that is s, so there is a parameterized constructor. The students, after that this s is going to be assigned to sz, so that sz could get the size or the length of the array. Now this length has to be passed here while creating the array or instantiation of the array. So here AR equal to new int as z. So whatever the size you pass as a parameter, that will become the size of the array. Which array? AR. I hope it's clear to you all. That's very good. One very important thing, every time I told you, please take care of that, that whenever you are having the declaration of the array and the creation in two different lines, then never use square bracket again. So here that is why square bracket is not there. Please take care of that. So that way array is declared, now created. After that we perform the input to the array. If you have any confusion regarding the input to the data of the array, or inputting data into the array, so you watch my previous videos of the array fundamentals, then everything will be clear to you. So here this is the statement for input AR of I equal to sc.nextInt. Alright, that is C is the scanner's object, next int is the function. There's a message on the screen, data element. Which data element? Data element, enter data element. As it is written here, enter data element I plus 1. That means 0 plus 1 will be 1. That will be the first element. So that is why plus 1 is required over there. Alright, that's not updating I, but it's just for the sake of display. Alright, otherwise for the first element it will write enter data element 0, which is not okay. Alright, after that we close the input function. After that we have the display function. So display function is very easy, public void display parenthesis, no arguments, is system.out.println array data is, that will be the message on the screen, array data is. Now the entire data will be displayed using this loop. This loop is same as we have used in the input function, you can see here, right? So int I equal to 0, I less than AR dot length. So instead of AR dot length you can have sz also. Here also instead of using AR dot length you can have sz, because that is also storing the length or the size of the array, and it takes less time. After that, students, it's going to print all the data. How to refer to different elements of the array? By writing the name of the array. So AR is there, that is the name of the array, and index in the square bracket. So index has been represented through I. So all the elements will be displayed. I think input and display is clear to you all. That's very good. Students, after that we go for the bubble sort. So public void bubble sort. Here I, j have been taken, one for the loop of the passes, the other for loop of the compare and swap, that is j, and temp is basically there for storing the data temporarily while swapping. Alright, now after that, students, we have here one very important variable, that is swapped. In this function, students, we are going to implement the bubble sort in an optimized manner, so that time is not wasted. If the data is already sorted, or many elements of the array are sorted, then there is no need to perform sorting. Is that clear to everyone? So swapped is already, this concept has already been discussed in my previous video. Please do watch that. Alright, so for I equal to 0, I less than AR dot length minus 1 semicolon I plus plus. This is the loop for passes. Alright, after that, students, we have here swapped equal to 0. So swap has been initialized with 0, students. So this is the outer loop, which is meant for loop for passes, and here the swapped has been initialized with 0. Students, here loop to compare and swap, students, and here j equal to 0, j less than AR dot length minus I minus 1. Students, this is the loop for compare and swap, and as I've shown you in the example, that every time we reduce our scope of comparison by 1, so that is why minus I and minus 1 both are going to be used here. You can see AR dot length minus I minus 1. So when I compare during the first pass, when I compare the elements, I always begin with 0. So if there are 5 elements, I compare 0 with 1, 1 with 2, 2 with 3, 3 with 4, and 4 with 5. Is it correct? No, because there is no index called 5. We have to compare only 3 with 4. So that means j's value must be up to 3. Alright, and automatically it is going to compare the fourth element. Why? Because I have already written j plus 1. Alright, so students, here 0, 1, 2 and 3, that is the value for j. How do we get that? AR dot length, I have assumed that is 5. 5 minus I, first pass I is 0, so no effect. It is still what? 5. Then minus 1 is there, so 5 minus 1 is 4, and less than 4 is there, that means less than 4 is 3. So it will work for 0, J0, J1, J2 and J3. Alright, I hope you got the reason. Next time, when we talk about the first pass, largest element has reached its proper location, that is location number 4. Right? After that, we go for the second pass. Second pass, what happens when the largest element is already at the fourth position? Then comparison should not be with the element available at the fourth location. So students, that is why this time this j must be having the value 0, 1 and 2. It goes up to 2. And how do we manage that? AR dot length, because this is the second pass, so AR dot length is 5 already, that is fixed, minus I. But this time the pass will be pass 2, so this time I will become 1. So 5 minus 1 is what? 4. Then 4 minus 1 is 3. And less than 3 means 2. So j will be having values from 0, 1 and 2. And when it reaches to 2, automatically plus 1 is there, so it will be compared with the element available at the location number 3 or index 3. It doesn't need to compare the element available at the location 3 with 4, because 4th is already having the element at its proper location. Alright. Now students, when this condition means when a particular index data is bigger than the next data, then its adjacent element or data element. So swapping is to be done. How the swapping is done? We stored the AR of j's data into temp, and then AR of j will be having AR of j plus 1, and then AR of j plus 1 is having the data from temp. Alright, that way the swapping has been done. For example, the value of j is 0 and j plus 1 is having the value 1. So here temp will have the AR of j, that means AR of 0's data. Then AR of 0 will be having the data from AR of 1, and then AR of 1 will be having the data from the temp. That way the values are going to be interchanged, like you have already seen in the given example. Right, you can revisit that example. After that, if the swapping has been done, swapped variable has been given the value 1. So that way it works, and then finally we close the inner loop or nested loop, that is the loop for compare and swap. Then we come into the outer loop. Students, here we check if the swapped is 0, means no swapping took place. That simply means we need to stop the sorting, because that tells us the data is already sorted. So please always take care of that. That's important. So this process will be over. Otherwise, if the swapped is having the value 1, right, so automatically the loop for passes is still on. Swap will be reinitialized with 0. Then it goes for the second pass. The same process is performed. Then third and then fourth, like that. So total number of passes are always what? How many? Array dot length minus 1. Now you must be having this thing in your mind, that while less than and AR dot length minus 1 at the same time. The reason is we begin the value of I with 0. So if I have to have n minus 1 passes, or when the size is 5, meaning 4 passes I want to have, so this loop has to work 4 times. So when I write AR dot length only, I write less than AR dot length only, so it will work for 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, because length is 5, so less than 5 means 4. So when I count 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4, so I find that loop works 5 times, and we wanted n minus 1. So that is why less than is also there and minus 1 is also required. Alright students, and after sorting the data, I have closed this loop, and then display. It will simply display the sorted data of that array. Alright, and then we close the function. After that, students, we have a main function where the object will be created and function will be called, different functions. So students, here public static void main string args, that is the main function, curly brace open, we create the object of bsort, that is obj equal to new bsort, that is 5 is the size, which is a parameter, then obj dot input. So data to the array of this object will be having the data now. The data will be entered through input function, and after that we call obj dot bubble sort. So automatically the data available in the array of this object or data member of this object, that will be sorted. And a display function is already there, you have seen, right? So automatically the sorted data will be displayed. So that is why I have not written obj or display. That's not required over here. All right. Now students, we talk about after that the optimized solution. I have got a previous solution here. Just see here how does it work. Public void bubble sort, same variable I, j, temp, I for outer loop, j for inner loop, then temp is for storing the data temporarily while swapping. Then here you can see that the loop for passes, the same loop, and then loop to compare and swap, that is also there. And then here we have the same condition that AR of j is bigger than AR of j plus 1. So we perform swapping, the students. So swapping is done and then display has been called. So what is not there, it doesn't have any swapped variable, and there is no condition to terminate the process of sorting if the data is already sorted. All right. So all the loops are going to compare to complete their cycle. So that technique also you can write in the examination, but the previous one was the optimized one. Now just see here how the object has been created. Public static void main string args. So inside the main function we create the object b sort ob equal to new b sort, size is 5. Then we enter the data using ob dot input, and then finally ob dot bubble sort 1 function has been called, because the name of the function I have kept here bubbles underscore sort 1, because they all in the same class. Right. So only one main function you will write. I have just shown separate main function because there were different functions, and I wanted to show you how different functions can be invoked using the object. I hope this concept is clear to you all. Thanks everyone.